Amal Clooney and George Clooney's marriage has always been in the public eye. The couple, who tied the knot in 2014, seemed like the perfect match, she, an internationally renowned human rights lawyer, and he, a globally adored actor and philanthropist. Together, they were the epitome of glamour and sophistication, regularly making headlines for their humanitarian work, stylish appearances, and of course, their picture-perfect family life. But as we know, behind the headlines, things aren't always as they appear. At the heart of Amal and George's marriage was the pressure of being in the spotlight. While they were both incredibly successful in their own rights, the constant public attention began to take a toll on their personal lives. Amal, being one of the most prominent human rights lawyers in the world, was no stranger to dealing with highly sensitive cases. George, on the other hand, was often traveling for his film career or his philanthropic efforts. The couple's demanding careers, combined with the constant scrutiny of the media, led to significant strains on their relationship. It wasn't just the paparazzi or the fans that kept an eye on them, it was the expectations of the world. People thought that George, who had once been dubbed Hollywood's most eligible bachelor, had finally found the one in Amal. But as their marriage continued, it became clear that living up to this idealized image was no easy feat. In the years leading up to the rumored end of their relationship, there were subtle signs that things weren't as rosy behind closed doors. Amal, although always poised and calm in public, became increasingly involved in her work, often choosing to prioritize her cases over social engagements. George, who had always been a family man, seemed increasingly distracted, as if the weight of his fame and wealth was taking a toll on his personal life. There were moments when the two seemed out of sync, both physically and emotionally. From being seen less together at events to rumors swirling about George's alleged flirtations with other women, the cracks began to show. However, they both maintained a strong front, insisting that their marriage was solid. In 2017, the Clooneys welcomed twins, Ella and Alexander, and it was hoped that their family would bring them even closer together. However, the arrival of children introduced a whole new set of challenges. Amal, already juggling her successful legal career and her public persona, had to balance the intense demands of motherhood with her other responsibilities. Meanwhile, George, a new father at 56, was eager to be involved but struggled to find balance. The dynamic shifted, and what seemed like the perfect family unit started to show signs of strain. While George had always been a devoted partner, the reality of raising young children while managing busy careers became overwhelming. Amal's work often took her to far-off locations for extended periods of time, leaving George to take on more of the childcare responsibilities. For some, this may have created a stronger bond, but for Amal, the distance between them seemed to grow both physically and emotionally. She began to feel isolated, and George, who was increasingly caught up in his own struggles with fame, found it difficult to meet her emotional needs. The tipping point for Amal came when she realized that, despite their best efforts, the emotional distance between her and George had become irreparable. She had spent years trying to balance her career, her marriage, and her role as a mother, but the emotional disconnect was undeniable. Amal had always been fiercely independent, and as she grew more successful in her own right, she began to question whether she was truly happy in the relationship. Sources close to the couple have revealed that Amal made the emotionally difficult decision to move on after a series of heated discussions with George about their future. While George was reportedly devastated by the idea of separating, Amal was resolute. She wanted more than just a life defined by red carpets and awards ceremonies. She craved emotional fulfillment, a sense of partnership that she could no longer find in her marriage. The toll of being married to one of the most famous men in the world had become too great, and Amal made the decision to focus on herself, her career, and her children. After the separation, the Clooneys have both been very private about the details of their split, but their lives have clearly taken new paths. George, who has always been a strong advocate for family life, has embraced his role as a co-parent to their twins. While still deeply involved in his charity work, he has made it clear that his children are now his top priority. Amal, on the other hand, has continued her work in human rights, building on her already impressive career. While there were rumors of other relationships following the separation, Amal has remained focused on her professional and personal growth. She has been seen out at various high-profile events, always radiating confidence and grace. Though the end of their marriage was heartbreaking for both parties, it's clear that Amal and George have both found new ways to thrive in their separate lives. They continue to co-parent their children amicably, showing the world that even high-profile separations can be handled with maturity and respect. And there you have it, Amal Clooney's emotional decision to move on from her marriage to George Clooney. It's a story of love, loss, and personal growth. While it may have been a difficult decision for both of them, it seems that they are each carving their own paths forward. What do you think about Amal's decision? Let us know in the comments below.